I guarantee some of these sex facts you had no idea about. Men, if there ever was a reason to pack on the pounds, this one is it. More sexual endurance is found in heavier guys than skinny guys. The association between male sexual performance and body mass index, or BMI, was examined by Turkish researchers over the course of a year. It turns out that men with higher body mass index stay in bed on an average of 7.3 minutes, whereas men with lower body mass index can only average 108 seconds. The study found that thinner males have a higher risk of premature ejaculation, and that larger men with an extra fat have more female sexual hormones, which delayed reaching the finish line. So even though skinny men may suit the mold, it appears that bigger men ultimately take home the prize. Next, we may want to keep our fantasies a secret from our spouse, because nearly 10% of all dreams feature sexual content. It is not only the domain of an eager teenage lad to have sexual fantasies. According to research done by the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, both men and women experience dreams roughly with 1 in 10 having some R-rated sexual material. However, there were a few variations by gender. Men are more likely to dream about having sex with numerous partners at once, while women were more likely to dream about politicians, celebrities, or their ex-lovers. So what are you dreaming about? I wonder. That was your dreams, but what about your thoughts? Do you consider yourself a freak for having weird thoughts? No, sir. According to Justin Miller, PhD, a research fellow at the Kinsey Institute and the author of the book Tell Me What You Want, The Science of Sexual Desire and How It Helps Improve Your Sex Life, 97% of us have sexual fantasies, despite that most of us don't talk about them. Most people report fantasizing anywhere from several times per week to several times per day. Really, what's startling is that some people report having no sexual fantasies at all. So when you observe someone staring into space, they're probably unrobing someone. Here's a question. How's your sex life? Did you know? We're having less sex but talking about it more. Even while there are more media references to sex than ever before, there aren't necessarily more sexy situations. According to a 2017 study, Americans reported having sex 16 fewer times per year from 2010 to 2014 than they did from 2000 to 2004. Things even worsened. People who were born between 2000 and 2004 already had sex roughly 9 less times annually between 2010 and 2014 than those who were born between 1995 and 1999. In a recent study, it was observed that between 2000 and 2014, the happiness of adults over the age of 30 decreased. So I guess it's understandable why American people tend to be dissatisfied these days with less sex and less happiness. If you thought that getting old was bad already, here's what just made it worse. So you think you're at your sexual prime? The average person's sexual prime coincides with their ability to rent a car. Okay, so there's obviously a correlation. Not a cause and effect relationship, but a study found that the average American will have the most sex around the age of 25. They discovered that adults in their 20s have sex more than 80 times per year, with that number falling to 60 times by the age of 45 and 20 times by the age of 65. After reaching its peak at 25, sexual frequency starts to fall by 3.2% annually. Yes, that's a bummer. So women, has your man ever asked if you finish? Well, don't feel bad if the answer is no. 75% of women report having regular intercourse without orgasming. When having regular intercourse, many individuals worry that something is seriously wrong if their female partner is unable to climax. But according to research, not only is this completely natural, but is also true for the vast majority of women. 3/4 of women require direct clitoral stimulation to orgasm, whether it comes from the hand, a toy, or a certain posture. Wait, according to science, having sex shortly before bedtime is the ideal moment to increase your chances. So, if you want to help out your spouse, ladies, let him know that you'll be in the mood right before bed. This will be our little secret, I promise. Okay, well, I may have said earlier that getting old just got worse. Maybe we can reconsider that, because the best sex can be found with older individuals. Too many people believe that reaching retirement age implies giving up on having a sexual life that is active. Even when discussing menopause, this does not have to be the case, according to Seattle OBGYN Sarah Delatorre, MD. In fact, having more sexual experience than younger individuals can make your sex life more fulfilling. The secret to a healthy bedroom is living a lifestyle that includes working out, eating correctly, and managing stress. She suggests it's always a good idea to discuss treatment alternatives with your doctor if you're experiencing a loss of libido. So it seems like getting older just got a little better. Here's an interesting question. Is sex going to be a thing of the past? I doubt it, but the results of a General Society survey demonstrated the following. In the past year, 7% of American adults had sex once or twice. 10% of the people said they hadn't had sexual activity in the previous year. 5% had sex 4 or more times each week. 16% had sex twice or 3 times per week, and 19% had sex weekly. And 17% had sex once every month. A 2019 survey indicated that 40% of married couples engage in sexual activity less frequently than once per week. One potential source of the issue may be smartphones. When your partner is glued to their phone, whether it's on a nightstand or in their hand, it might be difficult to have a meaningful discussion with them or even initiate physical contact. Perhaps smartphones are separating us from one another rather than bringing us closer. In addition, if we compare ourselves to the previous generation, we are less content with our lives and life in general. This may be a result of high standards that we were raised with. A book called Generation Me is based on the following premise. It can be difficult to be content with having our feet on the ground as adults when we were promised the moon and stars when we were teenagers. This is particularly true in terms of relationships, where many people assume that a perfect and passionate romance should last. That wasn't always the case. Earlier generations placed greater emphasis on practical aspects of marriage and didn't expect a single person to satisfy their needs. Hey, I bet you didn't know this. Contrary to popular belief, sex-related deaths happen frequently. According to some estimates, sexual activity accounts for 0.6% of all unexpected fatalities, according to one quote in the Postgraduate Medical Journal. If at first glance the figure doesn't seem exceptionally high, consider all the possible ways to pass away before realizing the figure indicates that 1 in every 200 unexpected fatality occurs during sexual activity. The most frequent causes of death during sex are brain hemorrhages and other heart events. So let's make sure you're staying healthy, because I wouldn't want you to go stiff during intimacy. That concludes sexual facts you probably didn't know. For more facts like this, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment.